50 Shades of Grey, one of the biggest bestsellers ever.
Yeah.
What's going on? The only thing I know that the sales of handcuffs and whips went like this. But what's going on here?
It was a kind of like a female erotica.
Yeah?
Stirring up the body of the woman, because it's a interesting dynamic that's played in that movie.
Yeah.
It's the powerful man
Yeah.
with a woman that surrenders to him.
Yeah.
And the man who makes the woman go weak.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, for some reason, that's very appealing for women,
Yeah.
you know?
On the surface in this story, there's an S&M affair, and they even have a master-slave contract. But it's more going on here, because
For sure.
S&M doesn't sell millions and millions of books. What's happening underneath here? What's the bigger picture here?
It's the longing for surrender.
Mm-hmm.
It reveals a very strong polarization.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the very strong man who is very masculine,
Mm-hmm.
and the weak woman who is feminine.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, it plays a very old-fashioned
Mm-hmm.
dynamic, you know,
Yeah.
where he's strong and she's weak. That's the easiest kind of polarization.
Yeah.
The most obvious kind of polarization. But it's still a polarization.
Mm-hmm.
Even if women nowadays are powerful, they still have the same longing.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the Taoist practices.
Mm-hmm.
For example, in the book of Sexology, they explain how taking the woman to the surrender is the single most important that the man can do for a woman.
Yes.
Because even if she self-pleasures, she's still on her own, and she has to retain some kind of control over the situation.
Our take on this, I would say, is that it's easy to get attracted by the S&M or the power play here, and that's okay, but that's not the end of things, because we keep this on the dopamine level, sex.
That's a very good
And
point.
we want the real longing, why so many women saw these movies and read these books, is they long to really surrender, and that's the oxytocin sex, as we call it, with the heart included. And I think they touched on that in the later books even, a little bit. But the thing is not to get stuck with the whips and the handcuffs, to actually go deeper and discover love, and for the woman to discover the surrender, and for the man to discover how to take her there and support her there, and find totally satisfaction together on a heart and soul level.
The book does elevate the initial situation, because in the end they do get into the heart connection, you know, where he starts to really love her, and also the sex becomes more vanilla sex instead of all instruments and stuff. So he does become the love warrior, and she does become the goddess, you know, that, or maybe it emphasizes that she's been the goddess from the beginning, who can raise him up into his heart, so they can have the true love and the heart connection.
So the beauty is actually they evolve together, because through the contract, the slave master contract, he established his true power, which has to be established first to be able to open the heart.
And one more thing that's revealed in that movie is that she understood his entry point. She understood that sex is what's going to eventually bring him up to feel his love. So she was a very smart girl.
And he understood gradually that sex is not enough to keep her.
Yes.
He has to go to the heart.
But you need money too.
That was a storyline. But in reality, to keep her, he must go to his heart as well.
Yes, because probably he couldn't have kept her if he would just be the asshole with the money.
No, doesn't work.
If you want to learn more about our love warrior and goddess and how to slowly become one, you can also check the resources down below and visit us at LoveUniversity.com. And see you in the next video.
Bye.